New York just experienced the largest population loss out of any state within the US in 2018 in terms of raw numbers. In fact, over the past 9 years, 1 million people have left New York City and the tri-state area. Today, almost 300 people are leaving this area every single day. But for centuries, New York has been one of the most sought-after cities within the US, and given its wide range of career opportunities, bustling urban life, and plethora of historic landmarks, it's no wonder why so many people want to move to the city. However, New York City has many prominent cons as well, including high taxes, a high cost of living, and cramped living spaces. But these cons haven't stopped people from moving here in the past. So what's different now? Well, starting off, many industries that are mobile have left New York, specifically the tech industry. Now, don't get me wrong here, New York is still one of the biggest tech cities in the US, but today it is no longer the only tech city in the US. Tech companies have established branches across the US, especially in fast-growing states like Texas and Florida. As a result, many people who wanted to work in these huge tech firms just stay in their home state. Really, the only industry that is still sort of exclusive to New York is Wall Street, but even that is diversifying, especially with the help of technology, which has introduced apps like Robinhood into the market. Overall, the vast range of career opportunities that New York once offered is simply no longer unique to New York. At the same time, people who have moved there over the past few decades, which are mostly millennials, are starting to get married and have kids, and New York isn't the most friendly place to raise a family. These millennials were excited to move there at first as they didn't have many responsibilities and thus not as many expenses. However, settling down introduces a new array of expenses, which has pushed many millennials to opt for a cheaper place. This is nothing new. Every generation, we see the aging generation who are starting to settle down move out of the urban cores, who are then replaced by the new young generation. But the issue with this era is that as millennials move out, the newer generations don't want to move in, as they can find the same career opportunities without moving to New York. Moreover, over the past few years, New York has seen a drought in jobs due to a growing anti-capitalist sentiment within the state. Just last year, as Amazon was trying to open a second headquarters within New York, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, a representative from New York, led a movement to stop Amazon from building a second HQ. She was leading a movement to demand better working conditions and higher wages from Amazon, and if this was the only place with a qualified population of talented individuals, Amazon may have bent. But given the rise of several other states with not nearly as aggressive business policies, Amazon has seen no reason to pursue New York given the opposition. This not only directly lost 10,000 jobs, but probably also unsettled many other businesses with plans to one day move to New York. Anyways, moving on, not only is New York not attracting a new population into the state, but they're also making it unpleasant for people who are already living there. It's no secret that New Yorkers are heavily dependent on the city's infrastructure for daily life, as driving within the city's traffic is even more of a nightmare. And unfortunately, New York City's subways and bus services have entered the death spiral according to experts. As the quality of these services rapidly declines, people are looking into alternatives which reduces revenue for the city from these services. A Guardian article posted in 2017 suggests that over a 5-year period, passenger revenue is expected to drop by $485 million. And as the city is losing significant revenue from these services, it becomes even harder for them to make improvements, leading to a catch-22 situation. To make things even worse, driving is not only a headache because of traffic congestion, but could also be very dangerous. 11% of the 162 bridges in New York City are over 100 years old, and every day, 2.7 million cars are forced to drive over bridges that are rated fracture critical, which means exactly what the rating suggests. Moreover, it's not just transportation that's lacking either. We see the same problem with water and gas lines. There have been more than 400 main water breaks in New York City every single year except one since 1998. And as for gas lines, in 2015, experts concluded that there was at the time over 1,000 leaky spots in New York City. In Manhattan, thanks to old pipelines, a natural gas leak is 3 to 5 times as likely compared to the average US city. On top of all of this, New York City has seen a rapid increase in mentally ill people living on the streets, which has led to many violent attacks on civilians, increasing fear among New Yorkers for their own security. As you can see, over the past few decades, many things that made New York City unique, including job opportunities and urban city life, have become available in many cities across the US. This, coupled with a drastic infrastructure deficit and a rise in crime, has made New York no longer appealing for younger generations, especially given the cons that have always existed in New York, specifically the high cost of living. In essence, the pros of New York no longer outweigh the cons for most people, and even with significant improvements to the city, it will not be able to become the icon that it once was, as identical services can be found elsewhere. And that's why people are flooding from New York. If you thought this video explained the downfall of New York City well, then make sure to drop a like. Also, make sure to subscribe if you'd like to see more questions just like this one logically answered. But until then, I'm Hari, and I'll see you guys on the next one.